What's going on, Packers fans? Aaron Nagler here with Cheesehead TV. Matt LaFleur, appearing on the Rich Eisen show yesterday, was asked about the struggles his team has had on offense the last couple playoff losses, either to the 49ers or the Buccaneers, both games in Lambeau Field, ending their seasons. And Rich kind of touching the third rail there a little bit and asking about the narrative and the perception that the offense the Packers are running with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback not being up to snuff when it comes to being in the cold. And I found Matt's answers pretty interesting. I want to play them for you, and then we'll talk about it here on the other side. Let's take a listen to Matt LaFleur on the Rich Eisen show.
General sense is the offense that you are running with Rodgers at the helm is not equipped to win games when it's snowing and it's 10 degrees outside, and that you would be better off playing in a warmer climate that clearly will never happen by having home field advantage. How do you respond to something that's put forth like that, Matt LaFleur?
Well, I think everybody is probably a little emotional about the last game, and it still hurts, it still stings, but I think one thing you always got to do is recognize your past and try to learn from each and every situation. And, you got to give the team, the San Francisco 49ers, a lot of credit. That we knew that was going to be a tough game regardless. I mean, they're such a great defense and a very physical football team. I don't think myself, more so than anybody, did their job to the standard that we'd like to do it at. And anytime you don't perform to your expectation, I think that leaves rooms for people to criticize, and I guess that's going to be the narrative, and we're going to have to do something about it and prove people wrong.
Do you think the criticism is anywhere remotely close to the neighborhood of valid, though, Coach?
I do not, but it is what it is. I mean, that's just everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and it's up to us to do something about it and prove people wrong. And until we do, that will be the narrative.
Now, I get where Coach is coming from here, and I think he handled that pretty damn well. He probably wants to come back with, look, I'm down my left tackle, my all-pro left tackle, these last two games in the playoffs where, we were summarily dismissed. I lose A.J. Dillon on a kickoff play, who probably would have featured pretty heavily. Also, the only offensive player to get into the end zone in that last game against the 49ers. There's a lot of circumstances there. But on the flip side, I can understand the criticism from the outside, looking at the Packers offense and looking how much they like to spread things out and how much Aaron Rodgers likes to spread things out and not being able to do that. It's one thing to look at the 49ers loss and talk about, oh, they should have done this, they could have done that. But if you actually go back and watch the game, the running game could never really get on track. I think all year long they averaged just over 4 yards per carry. They could barely scratch to 3.3, 3.4 yards per carry in that game. And Matt did what needed to be done towards the end of the third quarter when they had that long drive, kind of flips from the third to the fourth quarter. That's after losing AJ, and he's using Aaron Jones. And Patrick Taylor even gets, some time in that drive. They get down to the red zone, and they just can't punch it in. And this has been, the issue all year long for the Packers in 2021. More so than any problems with the cold or what have you. Now, at the same time, you flip it over and you look at Kyle Shanahan's team, and that's a team that is very physical, as Matt mentioned in that clip, and is able to run the ball. And you do wonder how much more efficient and effective could they be on offense if they tried to follow just not a complete overhaul, but just a little bit of that model, a little bit more power, a little bit more condensed formations, a little bit more motion, not asking Aaron Rodgers to do it all from the pocket, from, under center and or from shotgun, and reading all the matchups and everything he was really asked to do under Mike McCarthy. I get the criticism and I get the narrative. I do agree with Coach that, they have everything they need in their playbook and in their design and in their scheme to counter whatever they face, no matter the weather. It's just a question of emphasis and leaning into it. You go back 2 years ago, you look at those sequences of plays after the interceptions of Tom Brady. Jair Alexander, giving them a gift there, and they go 3 and out both times after 6 passes. And I understand whatever's being called at the line of scrimmage, probably something that Aaron saw at the line that thought he could take advantage of, clearly couldn't. There's a lot that goes into it rather than, oh, it was just cold and they can't play in the cold. No, their offense is bad in the cold. I think that's way too simplistic. And I do understand Rich bringing it up, but I'm sure there will be a lot talked about around this subject. And I do find it fascinating that with the Packers brain trust kind of overhaul, right, this offseason between the loss of Nathaniel Hackett and Luke Getsy, and now Steno having more of a voice now as offensive coordinator. You have to think the loss of Davante Adams, as we've spoken about a lot here, is going to force this offense to spread things around, become a little bit more multiple. Maybe they do lean into the running game a little bit more. But I take Matt at his word that, we got to do something about it. And I have to think that will be part of what they're looking at as they build the 2022 version of the Packers offense. I suspect we will see a little bit more spreading the ball around, not obviously focused on one receiver because there isn't a Davante Adams there. But I do hope we see a little bit more power, a little bit more commitment to the running game. And I think they have the personnel to do it. Now, obviously, health plays a big part of it. If you've got David Bakhtiari, if you've got Elton Jenkins, you can do a hell of a lot more, either in the run or in the pass, than when you don't have them. And I'm sure that's something that's on Matt's mind. And he's, I get why he can't say that to Rich Eisen. But I can say it because it's my YouTube channel, so why not? But let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are the Packers built to win in the cold? Is that going to be a bugaboo for the remainder of Aaron Rodgers' career in Green Bay? Let me know in the comments, and then tell your friends and tell your family, CHTV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.